And welcome, everybody. Welcome back to SD Radio. This is your UFC 207 New Year's. It's not technically New Year's Eve because it's Friday night, December 30th. Preview podcast. Tonight, it'll be two SD members, your one and only Dawk at +_Vig and myself, Bubba at BDintric, taking you through the UFC 207 pay-per-view and some other UFC news and review of the year. But first off, Doc, how are we doing tonight?
Very looking forward to 207. Very looking forward to it.
Yeah, I got two title fights, the return of Ronda, and we'll get into more of that. I won't say what I want to say. I'll save it for that. And much, much more on that card. But before we get to 207, let's go back to 206. This was a card that was very much overshadowed coming up. Obviously, if you're not a mathematician after 205, that was the big New York card that just blew everything out of the water, name value-wise. So most people weren't thinking 206. If DC got knocked off because he got injured yet again, AKA, which we'll get into again on this card, can't stay healthy. Yet, very entertaining. Knockouts galore, leg kicks galore. I didn't get to watch it live. I saw some highlights. My boy Cowboy continues to get it done in the new weight class. Just everybody keeps saying it's not for him, and he keeps getting it done. You did get to watch it. What were some of your big takeaways from the UFC 206 up there in Canada?
I took a lot away from it, actually. Lando Venata's spinning kick was ridiculous. I thought everybody the fight he had against Ferguson, I actually took a little shot with Venata. He was like +8 something, I forget, but he was competitive, and the way he just took care of McDessie was I was on Drew Dober, and I was very, very impressed with Olivier Aubin-Mercier, the way he took care of business. That's probably the best I've seen him in quite some time. Nikita Krylov looked like shit once again. He just can't put together impressive outings back to back. And then Misha Cirkunov looked pretty good. Gastelum looked phenomenal. And hopefully he stays at middleweight, and he just straight up dominated Tim Kennedy. Cub Swanson's performance was just absolutely ridiculous. The heart he showed, and not more importantly, but I think Duho Choice Chen was just a fucking chin of granite. Matt Brown, I don't know why he's still in the UFC. Pettis disappointed with a broken hand, I guess, but that should in no way take away from Max Holloway's performance, because I thought Max Holloway was phenomenal. And I really can't wait to see him and Aldo go at it, because that'd be a good fight if it ever happens, if Aldo gets off his fucking little crying whatever. But I thought it was a really good card. I was really surprised on how good it was, and it was a good card. But betting wise, wasn't good for me. But no, it was good. It was a good card.
Yeah, from the non-betting perspective, that seems to be the sentiment, because going into it, most people were thinking, oh, this is kind of a letdown. Like I said, DC isn't there anymore, so that title fight's off against Rumble. Pettis doesn't make weight, but in reality, Pettis shouldn't be fighting at that weight. That's not what he does.
Right.
Holloway is a really good fighter. It should have been Holloway versus Aldo to begin with, but Aldo's being a little bitch, like you said. He's doing his thing. Gastelum finally fighting on a weight class he should be fighting at, because he can't make weight anywhere else. And look what he does. It's funny how that works. And man, like you said, Brown, you got all these qualified fighters in the UFC that keep getting fired basically after one or two fights. Yet you got guys like Brown and all these other guys. There's a couple on this 207 card that keep getting shot after shot for. They must have pictures of Dana White doing blow off of hookers. I have no idea. It's well, like I think Dougie's mentioned some of them on other pods. Like we've talked about this. Some of these guys we have no idea how they're still in. Like Tim Bosch and those guys, how they're still in the UFC. But
Yeah,
it's crazy. But yeah, no, the same sentiments I heard from others that it turned into a really really good card, and I believe they played it for free over this past weekend actually on Fox. So hopefully
they
some of you guys got
did.
to
They
catch
did.
that.
Yeah, they
Yeah, a little
did.
Christmas
And
gift.
it just goes to show that like just because it doesn't look good, like if there's not a lot of hype, like the hype train's not really rolling with it, doesn't mean it's not going to be a good card because that's when the really good cards show up, you know? I mean, I find myself like not really giving a shit about a certain card, like a UFC fight night. And what was it? Fucking Saskatchewan or something?
Mhm.
Um, no. Ah, God, I forget which one it was, but
Probably that one like that was in frickin' Timbuktu, Texas, or whatever it was, with like Michael Johnson and all those guys.
yeah, that was an awesome card. It was really, really good. It was just a nice little night of fights. It was on a Wednesday night or some shit.
Yeah,
It was really, really good.
and that's how it works. Is I try to tell people, and I know we talk about it that when we kind of preview upcoming cards and stuff, is a lot of these free cards. If you're not into UFC and stuff, check them out because the people on these free cards are the ones fighting for their freaking lives. If you ever like
Right.
Google paychecks for the UFC, these guys on the free cards are making like 5-6 grand. Like,
Seriously.
and they fight 3 times a year, maybe if they're lucky. So literally,
Hmm.
they're doing this, and then they're going and like doing construction jobs on the side, trying to make ends meet. So they
Yeah.
have to win. If they win, they double their paycheck. So they're busting their ass in that octagon. So I'm
Yeah.
telling you, people, it's crazy. It's worth
No,
checking out.
definitely.
One thing I really want to get into, and we were talking about it right before we recorded because it really, really caught my attention. And if anybody follows me on Twitter that's listening to this, it really kind of threw me off guard. Dana White, usually, if you pay attention to Dana White, he's not the biggest fan of the media, especially not like Ariel Helwani and other people. But he did something today, which is very awesome of him. He did kind of like a little town hall in theory, kind of sat off to the side, did a little free for all. It wasn't a scheduled like at a podium time frame. It was just like a free for all. Let's have a little heart to heart with the media, and it was really good. And he answered some questions, and it got really interesting. And I want to start out with one that caught my attention, and we're going to go through a few others. But first, I want to get your opinion, Doc. He is backing and he's clearing Ronda Rousey from her basically media obligations for the next day or two, from what I understood. I could be misunderstanding this. Leading up to the fight, like she'll be doing the weigh-ins tomorrow and everything, but Conor always had to come to the media this, media that, because after his thing tonight, they came for face-offs and interviews. Like Dominic was there and Amanda Nunes was there and all those people were there. Ronda was not there.
Hmm.
So she got cleared of this. I want to know, I would die for a video of Conor McGregor right now.
Yeah, I don't know. It's man, you know, I just don't get it. And you know, uh, what's her name? Juliana Pena.
Yep.
Which
But
one is
there's
it?
been a big,
Yeah, yeah. She was all pissed off. Remember, I sent you that text, and I said she's pissed because she said that Rhonda gets everything she wants, and
yeah.
and that. And this is just fucking another example of Rhonda gets whatever she wants, and I'm just yeah,
Well, the
whatever.
whole lead up to this fight, and like I'm trying not to get too into it because I want to save it for when we preview her fight. But
Sure.
you would think she's the champion, and it's absolutely
Right.
embarrassing. But I'll leave it at that because the next thing, this one I did not see coming. I didn't even know this was on the table. Apparently, it is. It's done deal. It's done. We already knew Joe Rogan signed a new deal with the UFC with the limited role next year, mainly only the big pay-per-views, not traveling a whole lot,
Hmm.
not really foreign cards. But this Friday night is Mike Greenberg's last fight with the UFC. He is not going to be calling anything else after Friday night. He is done with the UFC. And the rumored replacement for Mike Greenberg, not John Anik, who's so qualified to do it, one of the best in the business, not Brian Stan, who is great. John Anik and Brian Stan would be a great 1-2 punch in the business.
No doubt.
No, we're going to go Mr. Rackham himself, the jungle, Jim Rome, who I don't know how he is qualified. The only thing that I can fathom in this whole situation is somehow the company that bought the UFC represents this man. I did not do my research on this. It's the only thing I think of. But I would like a hot take on this from somebody, and I'm going to you on this one, Doc, because you're the only somebody I have on the line right now. So what's your take on Jim Rome calling UFC fights?
If Jim Rome if Jim Rome ends up replacing Mike Goldberg, which is a shame because I really think Goldberg's three things you like remember, like inside the octagon, and then you remember he's gonna try to finish the fight, and all this stuff, and he's just synonymous with the UFC. And I think if Jim Rome gets hired and replaces him, that has WME IMG written all over it. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the only thing I think of is he's represented by these people, and I'm pretty sure he is. Like I've said, I didn't look into it. It only makes sense that he is. Only thing I think of. But this is like a Bellator move.
Yeah, this is bad. This is fucking awful. That's awful.
It's almost like they're going WWE. Are we trying to really? Are we mixing companies now? Is this what we're doing?
I will say this. The reason why he would not. The reason why he would get it over John Anik, which is a total travesty. And actually, before, like, I was really, really busy when I got home, and I was watching the West Virginia game, handling my son and whatnot. But I did see a little thing, a tweet from Ariel Helwani about it, and I didn't know they were talking about Jim Rome. So Jim Rome is the more recognizable, like globally recognizable voice. John Anik isn't globally recognizable. So that would be really my only thinking behind the whole move. But I mean, if you're not gonna put Anik in there, there's certainly other better people than fucking Jim Rome, man. Come on.
Yeah, no, and I understand that point. That makes tons of sense. Yeah, he's a face. He can do all that. I get that. But my goodness, like they're really like get some retired UFC, get Chuck Liddell or something. He's a recognizable face. Like I don't know, that was mind-boggling. But it's not a done deal. But it sounds like it is, but not official. But that just I'm scared to hear that first card with his little like Chris Berman type jokes he's going to try to make and stuff. It's going to be bad, so bad. I don't know, him and Rogan together. I just can't even see that meshing.
No, I think Rogan's going to have him in an armbar by the second pay-per-view.
Yeah, they're going to have to share lines or something so they're on the same pace. I don't know. And then the last thing I wanted to mention from Dana's press conference, and there's probably much more, but this is the last takeaway I had before the fight card we get into. Tony Ferguson has been calling out Khabib and really wants to fight him. And I personally would love to see that fight. Pretty sure you wouldn't mind seeing it. Dana White said it won't happen. And did you know why it won't happen, Doc?
Why is that?
Ferguson said he'll only fight Khabib if he gets paid as much as Khabib does. And Dana White's words were, there's no chance in hell that happens.
Well, hey, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Don't know what to tell you. Dana's gonna Dana. So whatever.
Yeah, that would just made me laugh.
Yeah, I don't get that, but I do, but
I do and I don't, because Ferguson. I think Ferguson's earned a little more respect than that. But
Yeah, no
like,
shit.
like, what do you have to do in the freaking division and in the company to earn more respect than that? But who the?
You
So
got to
yeah,
put butts in. You got to put asses in seats, and you got to make the company money.
my thing is,
Ferguson's
if you're
really
not
not a
gonna,
recognizable name. Everybody knows Khabib. Everybody knows Khabib now. Not a lot of people knew who Khabib was,
yeah,
until he fought, dominated Michael Johnson, and then he went out, which was totally unlike him, and called out Conor McGregor.
true,
When you do that, he he that's totally not in his
yeah,
nature, but he did it because he knew he had to do it. So
yeah, yeah. He didn't call out a retired Dan Hardy. He called out Conor McGregor. So that was good. That was good.
correct.
Yeah. Well, as long as they make the rumored fight of a potential Khabib versus Conor, because they're trying to do I think they're talking about a fight in like Russia or Poland or somewhere over there where they've never fought before.
Mhm.
That would work. But if they're not going to fight those two, make Ferguson happen. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
But all right, enough of my banter and antics and anger at the UFC. Let's get into the fight card. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have a 10-fight card. UFC 207. There's a 1 fight pass prelim, 4 fight FS1 prelims. Those are all free. Then a 5 fight pay-per-view, obviously not free. 2 fights got canceled. I forget who Jessica Andrade was fighting, but that got canceled. And then obviously Fabricio Verdum versus Mr. Cain Velasquez. Cain Velasquez continues to have his issues with health. They finally told he was going to fight through it and have surgery after. The NAC finally said, nope, you're not allowed to fight. So he came out in a presser today and talked about it in the letter they gave him. He's not allowed to fight. He has to get fixed and might not ever fight again unless they clear him, which doesn't look likely anytime soon.
Yeah.
That's a whole other issue with AKA that we talked about, Dawk, and I won't bore the listeners with that. But that's a shame. Saw Verdum was offered a fight with Alistair Overeem at 208 in Brooklyn. He denied it because he wants a rematch with Stipe Miocic, which I don't blame him because the winner of the Velasquez Verdum fight was supposed to get Miocic. So why take Overeem when you want the belt?
Correct.
So enough of that. We'll get into the fights. The UFC Fight Pass prelims. First fight of the night, 4:30 p.m. Pacific time, 7:30 Eastern. Alex Cowboy Oliveira, 15-3-1 versus Tim the Dirty Bird Means, 26-7-1. What do you got going on this one, Doc?
Man, I'm really not looking to bet this one. I think Oliveira. Oliveira's got a slight reach advantage, but both are just kind of like, I don't even know why they're on the, I don't even know why they're really fighting on the Fight Pass prelims or the prelims or what have you. But man, if I had to bet it, I'd probably bet Oliveira only because he's the dog now. So Oliveira's got some decent jiu-jitsu. Just not a really. I think there's better fights on the card to bet, but I don't know. Means can get pretty nasty, so I don't know, man. Oliveira's a weird dude, man, but his striking's pretty decent. Got some pretty good cardio. I'd probably take Oliveira here, but no, I'm not really interested in betting the fight. Means can they don't call him the Dirty Bird for no reason because he can make a fight pretty interesting,
Mm-hmm.
but I have an opinion on this. I'm not going to bet it. So if I had to, it'd probably be Oliveira though.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel on this one. It's a no bet for me. If I had to, be Oliveira. It's too obviously. Look at the records alone. 2 old school fighters, been around the block. Means is out of the UFC for a while. He was suspended for a long time. I believe this is his 2nd fight back from his suspension. We previewed his first fight back a couple pay-per-views ago. Came back, looked very dominant actually in his last fight, very dominant. But he's that guy that he'll grind on you and grind on you until he gets his opportunity. Loves to use his elbows and knees and his Muay Thai in that respect. But Oliveira, he comes from different angles and just kind of the striking that'll keep you off guard, and I like that in him. It's crazy because at one time he was top of the class, and he's fallen. These are two guys that could easily be the last fights for them. Yeah, I take the value in the dog, but this is one of those fights definitely not worth putting any lunch money on or anything, in my opinion.
Yeah, I will say that Oliveira looked pretty good against Will Brooks. His last fight knocked him out, but yeah, this is a no bet for me. It should be a good fight though, for sure.
Yeah, it's got that potential to be entertaining as long as Means doesn't just try to get him in the clinch and try to grind on him, which Means has the tendency to do. If he doesn't work that angle, it could be very entertaining, but you never know.
Yeah.
Let's get to the FS1 prelims, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Starts us off with Brandon Ruckus Thatch, 11-4 against Nico the Hybrid Price, 8-0. These are two high-powered men. That 73% KO, Price 75% KO, 170-pound division. Doc, what are you seeing in this one?
All right, Thatch. He like looks intimidating because he's like bigger than most welterweights, you know. But ever since he got subbed by a smaller Benson Henderson, he's been just dog shit. He got knocked down by, I believe he got knocked down by Gunnar Nelson, and then I think Nelson took his back and subbed him out. And then he got subbed by Baduzar, I believe. But Thatches look like total dog shit. And Nico Price, he's 8-0, making his UFC debut. Thing with Thatch, man, he's just he's got some power, he does, but he's just really, really wild. And he's not really that like polished of a striker. He's got the power, but he's just there's really no fluidity with it. I've actually watched I watched some YouTube videos of Nico Price, and his 8 fights, he's 8-0 with like 6 knockouts and one sub. Man, right now I see. Let me see the right now Nico Price. Oh shoot, he's dropped. Nico Price was 165 this morning. He's 155 now. I'm probably going to take a shot with Nico Price, and I think this will be Brandon Thatch's last UFC fight.
What's the under on
and
this fight?
Just under 1.5 rounds is -145. Yeah, so I think Price, like size-wise, Price matches up really well against him. He's kind of a wild striker too, but simply for the value, like that should not be -175. He just shouldn't. I mean, I know Nico Price is it's his first UFC fight and whatnot. From what I've seen, he wasn't like overly impressive, but I mean, he can hit. And
yeah,
it's like these YouTube videos, man. It's just like, remember when we were talking about Mike Perry, and he was making his UFC debut, and I was like, dude, this guy throws some fucking bombs.
Yep.
So
came out with that ass.
Yeah, he did. So RIP Moneyline Parlay. That crazy Moneyline Parlay I did. But
it had life.
Yep. I think I'm going to take a shot with Nico Price here at +155.
Yeah. Well, and people need to remember, because I know most people that listen to our pod, and first, thank you for you do, because we get a lot of listens for this, and people actually ask us if we're going to record for these. And by now, you guys should understand when we talk about a lot of these plays, a lot of it's value, because when it comes to especially a fight like this, as we're talking about it, two guys that are just throwing like crazy and are just such knockout, just one punch is all it takes. That value is so huge. It's crazy. And when Dawk's sitting there talking about how Nico is just the craziness and his precision and his striking and the way Thatch is falling apart, not that Thatch can't connect, but the value and price alone, even if he loses, that value is huge. And that's what he's explaining to you here.
Thatch basically just sticks his chin out. He keeps his chin up high, and he's like, he can be countered very easily. It's almost the same as oh God, what's the guy's name that I bet? When Whitaker fought Brunson.
Yeah.
Brunson just comes in all wild, and he got caught because Whitaker's got power, man. And then next thing you know, that was it. So
yep. No, it's one of those
yeah.
deals. Like, you wouldn't be surprised if Thatch knocked him out, but it's
right,
because the one thing that Thatch has going for him is Thatch has the experience, and there's a lot to be said about fighting in the octagon against high level competition. Tons to be said about that. But Nico does train in a very good camp, and he should be prepared on paper. Should be prepared for this fight. I like the value. I think come Friday night, I will be backing Dawk on this Nico Price pick. Moving on, we have, if this thing will load, we have Mike Quicksand Pile, 27-12-1 against Alex, the Dominican Nightmare Garcia, 13-3. It's a little more of a ground attack submission style fight. Interesting fight, to say the least. Another 170-pound fight. What are you looking at on this one, Doc?
Oh, man. Pile, you got a guy, good jiu-jitsu. He's got some decent striking. Coming off a loss against maybe Mina. I think he fought Mina, and he got knocked out. Mina's a badass, though. I like Mina a lot. I think he's a pretty fun fighter to watch. Let's see, Alex Garcia, the loss to Strickland, I believe. He's kind of been up and down. Lost one to Neil Magny. He won over Mike Swick, which is over the hill Mike Swick.
Yeah.
This is really a fight. I mean, Garcia's kind of he's more of a wrestler, kind of a takedown guy. It's really not a fight I would bet, but honestly, if I had to pick one, I mean, Garcia looks like really super intimidating, but he's just, I don't know. He's 13-3, but I'd probably take a shot with Powell if anything. I'm not going to bet the fight, but if I had to go anywhere, I'd bet Powell because he's value at 155. I wouldn't lay 175 with Garcia. No.
Garcia's the favorite?
Powell's a tough bitch. Garcia's the favorite. Powell's a tough bitch.
Yeah, the thing that scares me is Pyle's freaking 41 years old, and there's a lot of tread on that tire.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah, that's the thing that scares me. I'm not saying by any means that makes him an easy walkthrough here. The one thing that's interesting to me about Garcia and is the camp he's fighting out of. He's the Dominican Nightmare, but he's fighting in Montreal, and pretty positive that means he's fighting with Mr. GSP. Which, if you're going to keep your wrestling skills up, there isn't many better guys to wrestle with. All jokes aside, GSP is one of the best wrestlers in the world. So that'll help you with your grappling game there, because Pyle is one of the best submission artists in the history of the UFC, probably. Definitely something to be said about that. Garcia is a kind of a little mini Hector Lombard, but maybe not this technical striking ability to Lombard, but he's got some power in those hands. But But I think if Pyle can get control on the ground, I still think he can control Garcia. Yeah, there's value with Pyle, but I wouldn't touch it. I see this one going to distance personally. I don't know what the over-under is on this one, but I wouldn't put any bet on this card, on this fight. But if you're just completely degenerating out, I take the distance in this one. Sense on this fight. I see, especially if you look at Garcia's repertoire, he's been going the distance, getting decisions in most fights.
Sure.
That'd be my 2 cents. At least his latest fights. Moving on, Antonio Caro de Zapato Carlos Jr. against Marvin Vettori. We won't talk too much on this one. Antonio 7-2-0 against Vettori, 11-2 out of Italy. 2 massive submission guys. I honestly couldn't tell you too much about this Vettori guy. Do you have anything on these guys, Doc?
We should call Francisco, see if he has any.
Yeah, we should call our boy Francisco. I've never, honestly, I feel bad. I know the UFC and I've never heard of this guy. I feel horrible for not even knowing him.
Well, no, he's only had one UFC fight. Carlos Jr.'s coming off a win. Before that, he lost to Daniel Kelly, which, I guess he had Kelly beat. If I remember correctly, he had Kelly beat, and I guess if I remember, I don't know what happened, but I don't have any interest in betting this fight. None at all. I mean, if I had to do anything with it, I wouldn't do anything with it, to be honest with you. Yeah, I have no clue. No clue about this fight. Really don't. I mean, I've seen Carlos Jr. fight. I haven't seen this Vettori guy fight. So, yeah, nothing I really want to get into.
No, it's understandable.
And Vittori's only a +1 for being like an unknown that Vettori is. He's only had one UFC fight. He's like +120. So
that's not bad actually for not being that well known if you think about it in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, it's pretty competitively priced. So
yeah, so that's respect. And they're two Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belts. They're gonna know their ground game. Their position. It's just going to be a constant, chess match between the two. It might be one of those when you're watching it on TV, you might hear a lot of booing going on. If you appreciate MMA, it's a good fight. But if you don't, it might be one of those. Go get a beer, relax, get ready for the last free prelim fight.
No doubt.
Which will go to here. The number 6 welterweight in the world, Johnny Big Rig Hendricks versus number 8, Neil Magny. Hendricks 17-5, Magny 18-6. It is the last card on the prelims, assuming Big Rig makes weight, because that's always a big assumption. Let's see how that goes. But Magny, keeps winning, keeps rising up the rankings here. Every time I want to count him out, he wins, and then he loses, and he wins. But he's up to number 8, and Hendricks somehow is still number 6. This one, Doc.
Man, at first glance, I really, really, really wanted to take Neil Magny. It's almost like you see Hendricks and you just want to he's like an auto fade.
Yep.
Now, but the thing with Magny is that he's got somewhat of a suspect chin. I was actually really, really shocked that with his last loss to
Larkin.
Oh God, what's his name? The guy that fights for Bellator now.
Larkin, right?
Lorenz Larkin. Yeah, knocked him out in the first round, and I was like,
that was shocking.
I was really, really I was shocked.
Yeah.
Magny's got the length to give him problems, and if you just look at Big Rig, not Big Mac, because Big Mac.
He's too many Big Macs. That's his problem.
Big Mac, yeah, we're gonna call him Big Mac. He's like he's probably one of the most talked about fighters on our pods.
Yeah, he is. He's our slogan for what not to do.
Yeah, exactly. God, man, when he couldn't make weight, we were like, oh, shocker.
Yeah.
I just think his last 2 fights, he's just looked extremely hesitant.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't throw combos. He's just and I hear like after, oh, I'm going to get right. I just, I don't know what's up with him, but he's just, you just look at it, he's just not the same fighter he was when he was fighting GSP and Robbie Lawler. And,
Mhm.
you know, um, and the thing with Magny is that if it this way also is that, he got knocked out by Lawrence Larkin, and had Hector Lombard been a little bit more efficient with his punching and not gassed himself out trying to knock Magny out, Magny would have been coming off 2 straight losses. So that's another way I look at it. Um, I really, really, really wanted to bet Magny, but I can't. I just can't. I mean, who knows? By like Friday evening, I might. But man, it's just that something just tells me that Big Rig's finally going to get his act together and put, and because I think Magny's is actually a pretty good matchup for him. I think he could he would I think he'd be able to take Magny down easily. Against Gastelum, he couldn't do anything against Gastelum, but I don't know. Magny's got the length, but something just tells me Big Rig can put it together, but I just can't bet the fight. It's really weird, Bubba. I'm actually looking forward to seeing this fight because I want to see what each guy brings to the table. So
No, I get what you're saying is the scary part because by no way could I ever I'd have to be really drunk Friday night to put money on Johnny Hendricks. So that's just
no
not
way would I.
happening
Yeah, yeah, no way would I bet
because
it. No way.
it's too early in the fight card for me to be that drunk. But but it's I can't put it against him just for the fact Magny is that guy that he's just I can't find the right word. He's just not a complete fighter to me. He
Right.
every time you think he's takes that step, like we said, and then he goes and just gets his shit whipped against Larkin of all people. And then now he's fighting Hendricks, who you look at, like you said, and you think, okay, he's going to walk in and he's going to handle Hendricks. Well, as long as if Hendricks can get inside and take him down a few times or this, Hendricks has power still, folks. He's got power, and if he ever finds that flame that you mentioned that he used to have, watch out.
Mm-hmm.
This thing would be over as fast as the Larkin fight was.
Right.
It's like because he still has that. It's there somewhere. Somewhere it's there. He
Right.
just has like I don't know what it is. Like you said it so well. Like I started thinking about it when you were describing it. That old Johnny Hendricks when he was fighting for the titles and he was like the number 1 and 2 ranked guy in that weight class. It was a totally different animal.
Yeah. Totally.
Um, if he can find that guy, he can run.
Yes.
Now, does he find that guy? I don't know. That's why I won't touch this fight.
Yeah.
But it's intriguing because it depends. If he can run through Magny, well, he can make another run in the division possibly. If he doesn't run through Magny, well, he can change divisions. It's a really intriguing fight in that respect. So I see what you're saying there.
Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna take this fight, this is another one where fuck. Yeah, I wouldn't touch anything, but if you're gonna degenerate out, I look at either Hendricks or the distance again on this one, just because I could see him playing safe or going to the ground or something. But that's the only two things I got on this.
Yeah. This is just one of those fights. It's very, very. Although, like, it's not on the main card, but it's very, very interesting because I'm really kind of just looking forward to seeing what each guy brings to the table on Friday night. So.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That takes us to the 5-fight pay-per-view main card. Starting us off with Luis, the last Samurai Smolka, 11-2 against Ray, the Taz Mexican Devil Borg, 9-2. A little 125-pound. Oh, this is going to be a fun one. What do you got to kick off the fight card?
All right, Borg is a guy that I was looking to bet, and I still might do it, even though he's at minus 135 now. I believe Smolka opened up the favorite. I've opened up the he opened up the favorite. So obviously I'm getting the worst of it. so I'm kind of hesitant on it. But Borg's kind of intriguing because extremely strong. He's very athletic, and I think I guess he's left his camp and now is training with Jackson's to
Oh,
improve his
there's our camp.
striking. There's our camp.
We
So,
talked about that one.
yep. So, because if you look at Borg's last fight against Scoggins, I mean, Scoggins really kind of frustrated him. But I don't think that Smoke is the kind of guy. He's that caliber of a fighter to give Borg problems. I think Borg's gonna like. I don't know. It's tough because another reason why I'm kind of a little hesitant on betting it is that the fact that he's going to be fighting his first fight out of a new camp. But what I do know is that Ray Borg's going to be improved, tremendously improved, and if all else fails, I think he's just going to take Smoker down and just fucking just beat him senseless on the ground. I don't think he's going to have a problem taking Smoker down. Really don't. I think he's going to be able to. He's quick enough. He can close the distance. He can get him down. Defense is absolutely awful. I see Borg winning this fight. To be honest, I do.
Yep,
The only thing I'm hesitant about is that Borg was a dog and now he's a favorite. So maybe I'll wait for weigh-ins and see if there's maybe some douchebag will steam Smoker or something. I don't know, but
Dawk, just be the steam.
Yeah.
Be the steam.
I'm not steaming Smoker.
No, I totally see. I'm with you. Borg, he's a big 125 compared to Smolka. Much bigger. Yeah. Smolka's ground game is horrific. He has to stand and fight. Takedown defense is horrible. That's how he lost to Moreno. He got taken down and it was over. Just basically ground and pound submission stuff. Right in Borg's wheelhouse. Borg will take him down. Should have no problem with him once he gets down. I don't see it getting through 2 rounds, if maybe no more than 1. Definitely a Borg W. If you want to take it inside the distance for a little more value, maybe. I like Borg to finish this fight. Yeah, I like Borg a lot in this one. He's a very underrated 125. He's going to move up those rankings there. And people will know him, especially the more he trains in Camp Jackson, as we all know and love on the SD Radio podcast. Big fans of Jackson around here. Get your Borg on. That might be our guy on this pod.
Yeah, Borg inside the distance is about 240 plus 238. So.
Oh, you're right there. Get some of that.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, the stun gun, Jung Hung Kim, 21-3-1, going up against Tarek Sponge Safadine, 16-5. This one's kind of exciting. It's 2 old school guys. Been around the block, obviously, but definitely some different techniques involved, and a little hanging and banging, but some good ground game as well. I'm curious to see your approach on this one.
Tricky fight, very tricky fight. I'm not going to bet the fight. If I had to bet it, I'd probably take Safadine. The only way I think Stun Gun can win this fight is if he kind of grinds up against him on the cage, tries to take him down. I don't think he can take Safadine down. If he tries to strike with Safadine, I think Safadine will knock him out. I truly think that.
Yep, that's exactly what it is. It's two different attacking styles, basically. It's it's basically kind of a Muay Thai kickboxing versus grappling. Well, I guess it's Muay Thai as well, but get inside, want to take you down, ground and pound attack of Kim. So Safadine can use his distance and bang with you, use his power, and instead of Kim getting inside. That's how it's going to go. I like Safadine. You said Kim's the favorite, so there is value with Safadine, but Kim's on a bit of a hot streak and moving up those rankings a bit. So be careful there. But I think there's some nice value in Safadine, but I don't think it's worth definitely a coin toss fight is what I'm trying to say. So I don't think it's worth putting a ton of money on this one. But I wouldn't mind a little lunch money on Safadine. I see some value there on that in this fight. What do you have his line at on this one?
I don't have anything on it yet, but if I had to, I may by Friday evening, if the line is all right with me, then I'll probably take a shot with Safadine.
What do you have? What's the line at right now? If you have it in front of you.
Oh, I do.
I should have my stuff up for somebody.
Oh, it's all right. Safadine right now plus 125. It was plus 120 earlier this morning.
We're going to see how it looks come Friday.
Sure.
Wait and see. I think there's a little bit of value potentially there. All right, now it gets interesting. Potential fight for one of the title fights tonight. TJ Dillashaw going up against John Hands of Stone Lineker. Two hanging and bangers right here. Interesting fight. What do you got, Duck?
Man, you got Lineker, who's like the ultimate, just throwing punches, can knock you out in one punch. TJ Dillashaw, a guy that's like TJ Dillashaw 5 years ago and TJ Dillashaw now is like completely different. He's like one of those fighters I look at that's improved like a lot. And one of those other fighters that has improved a lot we'll talk about later.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to bet the fight. If I had to, I'd probably take Dillashaw by decision. I don't think he's going to knock out Lineker. I think Dillashaw is actually the superior striker. Does he have more power than Lineker? No. I think Dillashaw is the superior striker. I think he's the better wrestler. I think Lineker's really up against it here. I do. This is a step in weight class up for Lineker too. So yeah, I like Dillashaw. I'm not going to bet it, but I think Dillashaw should take care of business. I don't see him. Lineker's got a puncher's chance. So if anybody bet Lineker, I wouldn't blame him.
Yep.
I think Dillashaw gets. I mean, you know how I love dogs.
Yep.
I'm not going to say TJ. I'm not going. I think TJ gets it done here.
I completely agree. TJ, the way he has improved fight after fight after fight, has been impressive. In a way, I even thought that Dominic Cruz fight, it could have gone either way. I definitely thought if they would have given it to TJ, no arguments from my camp, from my side of the couch, no arguments at all. I thought he fought a hell of a fight. So did Dom. No difference. I thought he should have got a rematch personally, but that's not why I don't get paid to do that. But Lineker is one crazy mother mofo. And there's a reason his nickname is Hands of Stone. He can knock out pretty much anybody. And definitely when you can do that, like you said, there's a puncher's chance, definite value there. There's no doubt about that. Mm-hmm. EJ does things that most fighters can't do. He's a special breed. And we'll talk about it when we talk about the next fight, the way Dom fights. TJ does things that very hard to hit. And Lineker has not seen many guys like this. And it's hard to train for guys like this. Now, does that mean he's not going to be able to catch him? No, he could catch him. There's no doubt about that. But I think TJ will do what TJ does, and he will work his game plan, and he will wear him down. And if it means wearing you down for 3 rounds and winning at 30-27, that's what he will do. And And I agree with you. I could see TJ winning by decision. No doubt about that. Moving on to the
Yeah.
first of two title fights tonight, both bantamweight fights. Listen to the men's division. The champ, Dominic, the Dominator Cruz, 22-1 versus Cody No Love Garbrandt, 10-0, 9 of 10 wins by knockout. I heard you might like a dog in this fight, and I'm looking forward to this opinion.
All right. Well, this kind of goes with what we went with, the last guy we were talking about, TJ Dillashaw. I was on Cruz when he fought Dillashaw. I think I got Cruz up plus 105 or something like that. I think he won the fight, but like you said, if they would have given it to Dillashaw, I probably would have. Well, in the heat of the moment, I probably been like, "No, that's bullshit." But I saw it. I've seen the fight. I've watched the fight 2 other times, and I'm like, man, this was a really close fight.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think the fact that Dominic Cruz, you take a look at his close fights. Demetrius Johnson, right? Demetrius Johnson gave him a good fight. You look at TJ Dillashaw, gave him a good fight. Faber, kind of over the hill. We all know that. But, I think the fact that Garbrandt's going to be going in, he knows what to expect. Camp has fought Dominic Cruz. TJ's fought him. Faber's fought him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is just a kind of a thing where I think that you got to just take a look at how focused is Dominic Cruz. All their extracurricular activities he's got going on and stuff. And TJ caught Cruz a couple times, and I think Garbrandt, I think he packs a lot more power in his fists. And I just think that, like, sometimes it comes to this where it's almost similar to Holly Holm and Ronda Rousey, where a fighter has won so much, and Dominic Cruz is so hard to hit. But trust me, he can be hit. He's gotten hit. And I think Cody's going to catch him, dude. I just do. I just think this is Garbrandt's time. I really do. I think Cruz has kind of aged a little bit. Man, I don't know what it is. Something just tells me that Garbrandt's going to catch him, and he's going to hurt him. I think Dominic Cruz, this is a huge advantage for Cody, the fact that he has all these guys that he's training with that have fought Dominic Cruz. They know what to expect. I mean, this guy's getting such good coaching, and Garbrandt has improved. Another guy that's improved tremendously over time. And I think he can, his wrestling's, it's not like world class, but I think he can compete with Cruz on the mat. I do. And Cruz is so hard to hit, but he can get hit. And do I think he can hurt Cody? No, I don't. I don't think he can hurt Cody. I don't think. I think Cody's going to catch him. And right there, Cruz has just gone through these guys at Team Alpha Male. I think he's going to come in a little overconfident. I think Cody's going to take it. I do. Just my opinion.
Well, I asked for your opinion, and it was actually pretty good. Won't lie. Usually your opinion is good. That sounded mean. That wasn't my intentions.
I know, that's fine. I get it.
No, that was good, because I was curious, because I want to clarify. For many times looking at Dominic Cruz fights, I've hated him, despised him. I've hated his attitude. I've hated so many things about Dominic Cruz. I've, like so many fighters, for some reason, I've learned to respect them. Mm-hmm. His talent levels, this, that, and the other. The one thing about him is just like the same thing I was saying about TJ is his bobbing and weaving is what he does other people don't do.
Mm-hmm.
But your argument about his training partners, Gerbrandt's, that's huge. That's really
Big.
huge.
Yep.
My question, because you do research on all of this way more than most people do. Maybe you didn't have a chance on this part of it because I didn't ask you ahead of time. Um, do you know, did he get to spar at all with Dillashaw? Because I know Dillashaw was training for his own fight.
I don't know that. I don't know
Okay.
that. I don't
I
know
was,
that.
so I was wondering if how, like, who they brought in to be like the spy for Cruz, you know what I mean? To be that guy. Um, I like your game plan. I'm not knocking that at all. There's definite value there because Garbrandt has gotten better and better, much more power than Dillashaw. He because Dillashaw did rock Cruz a few times. It was really close a couple times. You were starting to think, oh, this might happen. And the biggest question with Cruz, especially of late, is he healthy? Because every time they say he's healthy, and then midway through a fight, he looks like he's about to fall apart again.
Right.
You never really know if the reports are true because his last fight he was supposed to be healthy, and then finishes the fight and he says he's both his knees are messed up still or whatever it was. Like you never know.
Yep.
What's the line right now for Garbrandt?
Plus 185.
Whoo. Yeah, I can't blame you there.
Plus 180. Yep.
The only thing I'm worried about is that press conference today after Dana White's deal. They had a video thing, a side-by-side video of Cody and Cruz was yapping his gums like normal, and he's in Garbrandt's head because Garbrandt dropped his mic and walked off.
Uh,
It's the only thing I'm worried about.
I'm not worried about it. I think Cody's
Okay.
gonna knock him out. I think Cody's gonna knock him out.
Okay.
That's
No.
that's honest. That's honestly, you got to think about it this way too, and I think Dougie would agree if he was here. Hope you get well soon, Dougie. Um, I think that the path. Well, look at this. Garbrandt inside the distance is plus 240, and Garbrandt's plus 185. So they're
That tells
saying
you
right
something.
there that his really only path to victory is to finish Cruz. He can't. I don't see this
Yeah,
going
he's not.
5 rounds.
Yeah.
And the
Well, I
yeah,
like it.
yeah.
No, I can't. I'm not knocking. I like because you texted me earlier today and you said I like Cody. I was like, I'm looking forward to hearing this. Um, no, your argument's very valid. You might twist my arm to put a little something on it come fight night. I'm listening, definitely listening. I'm intrigued now because there's value. It's like I said earlier, there's value there, definite value there.
No doubt.
I'm intrigued. All right, let's get to the main event of the evening, the one I'm looking forward to the most. Yes, I am because I won a lot of money with her the first time. I plan on doing it again, but this time she has the belt. The champ in the bantamweight women's division, Amanda the Lioness Nunez, against Ronda Rousey, making her return to the UFC because she can finally bite into an apple again. And, she's on every billboard and every video, and Nunez isn't in much of anything. And you'd think she wasn't even fighting or she wasn't the champion because Ronda Rousey is the queen of the world and she's in charge of everything and does whatever she wants. And, yeah, she's Ronda Rousey. And she might never fight again after this because she's Ronda Rousey. She does whatever she wants. And I can't wait till Nunez knocks the living shit out of her again, and she can never eat again. And what's your opinion on this fight, Doc?
Tell me how you really feel.
I'm just so sick of it. I'm sick of it.
I know. I think Juliana Pena is too. So if anybody listening, if anybody's heard me on these pods in the past, that that what I think of Rousey, I think Ronda is an outstanding world-class grappler. But when it comes to striking, she's extremely below average. And I knew that her time was coming. It was only a matter of time before her time was going to come, where she was going to fight a dominant, outstanding striker, and she was going to try to play her game, and she got knocked out. So, so since Rousey's loss, we've seen the title change hands twice. Holm got beat by Misha Tate, and then Nunes destroyed Misha Tate. And by the way, I actually watched an interview with Misha Tate, and
Mhm.
she's fought she's
Both of
fought
them.
Ronda and she's fought Nunes. She says Nunes hit her so hard, it was so
Yep.
hard to like get a grip on where she was at.
Yep. She's
I never
picking
hit like
Nunes.
that before, and hopefully I never do. Um, Amanda's also very, very precise with her striking. She doesn't waste punches. Um, this is I think Ronda Rousey. I think, well, let's just put it this way: since we've seen Rousey lose her belt, we've seen a lot of like women in the bantamweight division like come up, and like it's almost like there's a new breed of fighters like Shevchenko and Holly
Mhm.
Holm and Pena and now Nunes, of course. But um, I think the fact that we've seen a weakened and mentally fragile Ronda Rousey,
Mhm.
it raises some serious red flags. Um, I think right now Amanda Nunes is not only the best fighter in the women's bantamweight division,
Mhm.
but I think she's gotten better with every fight. And you and I talked on a pod a year ago,
Mhm.
and Nunes was fighting. I forget who she was fighting, but I think I put her as my best bet. She was like minus 115, and she had just went and just destroyed the girl. She has gotten leaps and bounds. She is so much better than she was a year ago. It's not even funny. I mean, it's really, really good.
Yep.
And um, she can take your back very, very quickly. She's very good on the ground. Um, most of these girls that Ronda dominated, I'm telling you, they were just tomato cans.
Yep.
They weren't even near the class of Amanda Nunes. Nunes is a superior striker. She can hang with Rousey on the ground, but I don't think it's going to go to the ground because I think Rousey,
Her ego.
she's not going to be able to close the distance and get her down.
Mhm.
That's just my take on it. And this whole thing with her not doing media appearances and kind of like, I think it's bad for her because
Yep.
she's showing that like
He's a bitch.
she's showing it, yeah, that, and it's the fact that like
And that's not me being a sexist. That's just me. If I'm treating her like any other fighter, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be sexist. I'm just saying he's being treated like a little bitch right now.
yeah. Um, you also have to take in consideration octagon rust or ring rust, whatever you want to
Yeah.
call it.
Oh
Rousey
yeah.
hasn't fought in the octagon in more than a year.
Hmm.
Um,
Yep.
the only thing that concerns me about Nunes is her cardio, and but I just don't see this fight lasting more than 2 rounds.
No.
So I went already bet it like I think it was a week ago. I bet Nunes inside the distance because when I saw this line open up, I thought that it would go, and up more. I thought people would be on Rousey and stuff, and it was floating around 145, 165 around there, and now it's down to 110. So you can get Nunes inside the distance plus 128.
Nice.
Yeah, I got it at 150, and the thing is with like the thing I do like about Five Dimes is that they have like different kind of props of how in way you can win inside the distance via knockout, via submission, as opposed to bookmaker. It's like you either win by knockout or submission. There's no inside the distance. So because I don't know how. I mean, Nunes could get her down and then take her back and then choke her out.
Yeah.
You never know. But yeah, I don't. I think Nunes is going to get her, and I think it's probably going to be an early second round knockout.
Yeah. Okay. Now let me rephrase a few things. Ronda is a very good grappler, jiu-jitsu fighter.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
She's not an MMA fighter. MMA is mixed martial arts. That is more than one. That's what mixed stands for. That's why she gets knocked the fuck out.
Thank you.
That's what Amanda Nunes is going to do on Friday night. That is what I'm sick and tired of, is Ronda Rousey hiding from everybody. Yep. She got a boo-boo, and now she's not talking to people. It is a horrible look, and that's why it makes people like me angry. It's like you want to be big, bad Ronda. You want to be the face of MMA. You want to be in movies. You want to do all this stuff, but you can't face the music.
Right.
Talk the talk, walk the walk. It's that simple.
Yep.
And you said it. We've been on Nunes since day one on these podcasts. We've done UFC pods. You can go on our YouTube channel. We've been doing them for a long time. This is probably I know third for sure, if not fourth, at least fourth or fifth maybe Nunes fight we've done. And we've been on her every time. Yep. And I know we were huge on her against Tate. That might have been my best bet on that card. I was promoting the knockout on that one. And we've been saying it all along that these new fighters, these women, they are mixed martial artists. That's why Ronda's days are done. Mm-hmm. And that you said it, coming back, ring rust, getting thrown into this fight. Are you kidding me? This is the fight you want to get thrown back into? Now, sure, she might come and get lucky and take her down an armbar. More power to you. Throw it in my face. Knock yourself out. Go fight her again. She'll knock you out next time, because I know for a fact Nunes is the better fighter.
Yep.
I am 100% positive on that one. But that's the beauty of MMA and UFC. You're going to get anything can happen any given day.
Yep.
But Nunes is the play on this fight. I will go to my grave on that one. I will lose money on that fight if she loses. I do not care. This is one of those bets I will make, and I will lose and lose gracefully. Well, no, I won't. I will cuss and get angry, but I will lose it because it is what it is. But I won't, because Nunes will knock her out, and I will be so happy. And then Ronda can do whatever she wants to do. But it's just, it makes me really, really angry if no one can figure that out yet, that all the press, it's just, people forget Nunes is the champ. Give the champ some respect, people. Like, good God. It's embarrassing. Yeah. But I'll get off my high horse. But yes, Nunes is my best bet. It's pretty much the only bet I've given you out officially. I haven't got to dig in too much, because usually I mediate and give my 2 cents here and there, give a few bets. So I didn't prepare like I usually do, but I was big on this one. I had a lot planned on this one. But Nunes, definitely my bet of the evening on this one. And I might take inside the distance as well.
Bubba, let me just go over this, okay, real quick. And if you're thinking about betting Ronda Rousey, okay?
Yeah.
All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Before she lost the title to Holly Holm, this is who she fought. And that's whose twin sister is that?
That's Uriah Favors.
Okay, Miesha Tate, round 3 submission, and Tate was actually very competitive in that fight. The next one was Sarah McMahon, Alexis Davis, Ken Zingano, which had the dumbest game plan of all time. I've talked about that on previous pods. And
it's a Ryan Bader game plan.
Yeah, and then Dougie's favorite female fighter, Betch Gahea. Those were the fighters. I'll never forget what Dougie said. The only thing she's going to be punching is air. But no.
Yeah.
But but seriously, those are the 6 fights she had before she lost to Holly Holm. And you take
And then
all those fighters except for Miesha Tate and compare them to Holly Holm and Amanda Nunes, and it's not even close.
and think about
The
this one.
caliber now.
And think about this. Why for so many years would Ronda face those cupcakes but never agreed to fight Cyborg?
Because she knows she'll
If
get
she
beat.
was if she was if she was so big and bad.
Beat.
Just think about it. So just if you're gonna bet Ronda, think about these things, people. Just think about it.
Yep.
All right. Any last thoughts on UFC 207 before we take a few little quick hits and wrap this bad boy up?
I'm looking forward to it. The only thing I've bet thus far is Nunes inside the distance, and I will bet Garbrandt tonight, and I'm probably going to bet Nico Price tonight too. So
Yeah, I think I'm going to end up telling you on Nico. I am all over Borg. I'm convinced on that one. I really like.
Yeah, I forgot about that one.
I'll probably take Borg straight up, like you know how you know the spread money line plays. I'll probably put a unit on the money line and put maybe a half unit on that inside the distance plus 240. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
And then I'll put a little on that Garbrandt. I am all in on Nunes. That might be a biggie for me. I might sink or swim with that one. And then I'm going to keep an eye on Safadine. I kind of like a little gamble on that one, little lunch money on Safadine.
Yep.
All right. Couple little things. Since it is the new year, a couple quick hits. Couple of the best fights 2016 for you, Doc.
One was the one that was just 2 weeks ago, and that was the Choi Cub Swanson fight. That was ridiculous. That was by far the fight of the year for me. The other two would be both McGregor Diaz fights. The first one being my favorite because seeing Conor get whooped. So
Conor getting embarrassed was amazing, but that second one, it was almost like it was scripted, but it wasn't, and it was so gloriously scripted if it was, because it was just so back and forth, just beating the living snot out of each other. It made me want to see a third one, because at first I was like, this needs to be it. I don't want to see it again. Now I want to see it so badly.
Oh, there will be. It'll happen.
It has to, and I can't wait for it. Who is your best fighter or fighters of 2016?
Oh man, it's tough.
It's really tough. That's why you can't really go wrong. It's that tough.
No, you really can't. Man, if I have to, fighter of the year, man, I'm gonna have to say it can't be Conor because he has a loss.
Yep.
I'm gonna give it to Demetrius Johnson.
Yeah, that's who I was gonna give it to. It seems so easy because he just runs shot on everybody. He just dominates everybody in that division. But
Joanna Champion or Amanda Nunes too.
I was gonna give it to Amanda Nunes. That's my girl. But Joanna Champion and Demetrius, all very deserving.
No doubt.
Last but not least, any fights you're really looking forward to seeing in 2017?
Yeah. Yes. I'm looking forward to quite a few. I cannot wait to see Yoel Romero absolutely destroy Michael Bisping. I can't. Let's see. Really, really interesting, I think, is Shevchenko and Nunez. I think those two are going to go at it after Nunez beats Rousey, and that's going to be a 5-rounder. And the thing is that Nunez won the first fight, but really starting to gain steam. So It's going to be a 5-rounder, so we'll have to wait and see on that. Khabib and Connor and Diaz, I want to see. And can we finally see Daniel Cormier against John Jones, please? Please.
Or at least versus Rumble Johnson.
Yeah, at least.
Because Rumble could at least knock him out for me.
Oh yeah, Max Holloway, Aldo, if that ever happens.
That would be great. Yeah, Khabib Connor would be amazing. I would die for Romero versus Bisping. Just like you said, for the murder suicide that might take place in England.
Yep.
Yeah, and then Nunez Shevchenko. That is an amazing fight potentially there. Amazing fight.
Yes.
Yes. Absolutely amazing. I didn't even think about that one. What weight class am I missing right here?
Stephen Thompson Woodley again.
That's what I was thinking of. That I'm looking forward to big time, because that was another potential great fight of the year potential. It wasn't as exciting per se as some of the other ones, but that was a great fight to watch.
You know what? And I do want to see this and happen in 17. Whoever wins that Woodley Thompson fight, give Damian Maia a title shot.
Yeah,
please, just give him a fucking title shot.
I can get behind.
He deserves it.
I can get behind that. I'm with you there. Well, perfect. That's just about wrap it up. Awesome stuff. Should be an awesome UFC 207 fight card on Friday night to wrap up 2016, which was a locked and loaded UFC season, locked and loaded sports season, locked and loaded everything. It was the year of the dog in the UFC, if you think about it. A lot of titles are changing hands if you weren't named Demetrius Johnson or Joanna Champion. Everywhere else, they were changing hands left and right.
Yep.
Maybe we'll have a heavyweight champ hold the belt for more than once. Stuff like that. Who knows? Maybe we'll have a heavyweight champ defend their title because they'll stay healthy. We'll see how that works. Stipe did it once. Let's see if he can do it again. Anything else, Doc?
No, just thanks for everybody listening, and thanks for support, and Happy New Year, everybody.
Yep. And again, you can check out Doc at +_Vig. Keep checking out his Doc's Dogs. Been good stuff on that. All the guests he's had on there. Check out the next Benched with Bubba. We'll be recording tomorrow night with Brock Ness Monster, recapping some more MLB information and off-season news. We will have some more New Year's Eve Sports Degens awards coming out this weekend. Check us out, thesportsdegens.com. Hope everybody has a happy and safe New Year, and we will catch you guys later. Thanks for listening.